All right. So we're gonna try to do a little bit of super basic luring stuff to help somebody um, who has that I just reached out the other day has separation anxiety. Hasn't done any obedience work. They said they know the dog knows the sit, but I'm gonna go over sit down, stay, place, go to bed. Right. Just super basic luring stuff. So typically you can just take your food and you want to do it while the dog's hungry right before you feed him, and you can just have him move and follow your hand. Now, of course, he's had a lot of work done, so it's going to look super easy. It's not going to be that easy. You can do this. I never have, but we tell people to do it. If you have time, it's always good, right? Just move your hand, mark and reward. Good, and right. So it's you move your hand, good, reward, right? He follows your hand, good, reward. Right? That's super basic. I've never done that. I've found that I kind of don't have time, right? So, and I found that just doing the work is enough. Usually, like the first couple of lurings might be super super hard, but then it progressively gets better because these guys are super efficient and they try to find the fastest way to get that reward, right? So you might have a couple that you just have to be real patient with your hand motions, which is hard for me because my brain is like 90 to nothing. So sometimes it's harder for me to slow down for the dog, and I just have to remind myself that. Right? Break. So a sit. I'm going to do. Usually, you want to do your sits in front. You go sit, and you do your hand motion. Good. Mark and reward. Good as soon as his butt hits the ground, right? And then you're going to go break and move, right? Then you're going to lure him back around. You're going to lure him back around, and then you go sit. Good. See, he knows the sit. But you go the verbal, the hand motion, the lure slash hand motion, and then the mark and reward, right? You're such a good boy. So usually we tell people wait until the dog is doing the action really well before you use the word. Um, Sometimes it doesn't matter because you make it better and better as long as you're starting the action, right? So we're gonna come over here. We're gonna go sit. Good. And down is this. Are you in the picture? I think so. So you go down, and your hand motion is straight down, and you'll find that when you get here, sometimes you have to come out. So it's like an L, right? It's down and out. You want to go slow, mark and forward. Good. Break, right? You go, right? So you go sit, and at first you're gonna do every sit, right? Then you're gonna get your other food, and you're gonna go down. Good. Break, right? And so for your stay, right? For your stay, you're almost always going to want to use something. So look, the ground right here is just arbitrary. You can go sit, stay. Uh oh, I don't want him to break the sit. Stay, right? The word. Uh oh, nope. Sit, nope. Sit. Whoop. Hand motion him or least pressure on my foot because he knows it. If your dog is just learning this stuff, don't do that. He knows this stuff. He's just jackholing around, right? Stay. Nope. Stay. Why are you doing that? Stay. So you're gonna want good. You're gonna want to do maybe just a little movement at first. I found if you use a cot or a blanket, break. Good job. If you use a cot or a blanket, did you see he was staying until I said something? If you use a cot or a blanket, it's usually easier, right? Because it makes it. This is just arbitrary. This is something he's got to focus on. So you go sit and stay, and you might just have to take one step at first. Good. Mark, reward. If you do 5 of them, stay. Good. Let's say you're going to do 5 reps, right? You're on your fifth one, you go break. Always break on your last one. Otherwise, you can start, and it depends on how serious you want your stay to be, right? you should want it to be pretty serious. The other one would be, this is one where I almost always skip steps because it gets better. This one definitely gets better the more you do it. Right? So you pick your word, place, or go to bed, whatever you want it to be. So some people will do a thing where you throw food on the bed and they start eating off the bed. I tend to not do that. I'm more of a motion for motivation type guy, like showing them how to do it, and it keeps me from having to stand still. Right. So you would go, say you're going to use, with him we've been using place. So you'll go place and do your hand motion, and usually you want them to already have it down. Right. Good. Mark and reward. Break. Makes sense. So it's the word, the motion, and you start close, right? Hey, you digging in that, right? So you go place, and he goes on there, and you go into the down. Good. Mark and reward. Break. Good boy. Right? Sit down, stay, place. That's everything, right? So that's when they're in front of you. Then you want to do it in. So I should have done this over there. Then you want to do this. They always do that. Come here. So say you taught. I usually sit. I usually teach just once they start getting the idea of it, then I start doing it in heel position. I don't do a whole ton of them just in front of me because then it makes it harder for them to do it in heel position. So it depends on what you're gonna do. If you're gonna be walking and you're never gonna ask them to sit, then who cares, right? But I usually do, like, once I get a few and they get the idea to sit, then I'll turn it into sits and heel position, right? So they lower around, you step back, and you go sit, boot up, mark and reward. I didn't mark. Down, the word, the hand motion, mark and reward. Good. That's a very late mark. Break. Right? So then you go to no food in hand, right? Once you get a few, I start testing it after about five. I might do five lures and then I'll drop the food. I'll go sit, and if he doesn't sit, good boy. If he didn't sit, then I would go to the hand motion without the food. Then if he still doesn't do it because it's so early, then I'll go to the food. Right? Now he's well beyond it, so I'm not going back to food anymore. Now I'm going to least pressure. I'm gonna wait and do that when I do your door video. I'm not gonna do that on here. But he down? Good. Stay. I don't practice these enough, and I say it every time. Good. Mark, hand in pocket, reward. Break. How did we knock the foot off? Um, let's go do a heel drill because she's gonna need this. She's gonna need heel drills, and she needs threshold work at the door. Right? What else? Then I'll have to look at the message and see what we were talking about.